The NHL playoffs are one day away, and to celebrate, we are ranking every playoff team from 16 to 1. We do this every year. It's one of the most exciting exercises, and there's a lot of turnover as far as teams go. 6 new teams in the playoffs this year that weren't in the postseason last year. Some back for the first time in a few years, like the Pittsburgh Penguins. Others, like Colorado and Dallas and Tampa, mainstays in the postseason. But where will we rank them on this list? It's Luca, it's Jesse, it's Pac. Pumped to bring this one to you. For each of these, it's not a ranking based on like how likely they are to win the cup. It's just the 16 best teams. Like, even if you think, like, we know one of Dallas or Minnesota has to lose in the first round, but both of those teams are probably going to be in our top 7, let's say, because they're both 2 of the best teams in the NHL. It's just unfortunate they have to play each other in round 1. So that's for everyone that's going to be yelling at their screen being like, they won't be able to win the cup, both of them. Why are they so high on the ranking? It's just pure 16 best teams. And then we've assigned each person to just, while we have this discussion, give a reason that each team can win the cup and a reason why each team might not win the cup, just to be able to talk about each team individually as well. So excited to do this. Was making this list tough for you guys because it felt just as tough as the top 25 players. It was not easy.
It's just such a weird year in the NHL where, like, all these teams have been so close, and the battles for these playoff spots and playoff seeding has gone down to the wire, and it's been so fun to watch. Also, like, the East felt very strong, where the West is extremely top-heavy, and then, I mean, we've talked about it for many episodes now. The Pacific Division has just been the gift that keeps on giving. So it's very exciting.
Don't count out the Pacific Division.
I know. I'm scared to count them out now because they're
I'm not counting them out to win the cup, but when I'm actually ranking these teams, maybe I'll be more honest with how I feel about them. But
yeah,
I don't know. Just want to say before we start, the first round of Stanley Cup playoffs is far and away the best sports period of the entire calendar.
Yeah.
Just those 2 weeks where there's like 3 games every night. Man, so exciting.
4 sometimes.
Yeah.
Usually 4. Yeah, for the record, I actually did sprinkle in a little, like, how far I think they'll go in the playoffs, if that makes sense. Is for my
the
list.
ceiling of teams obviously weighs into how good they are, right?
And I will say this. No disrespect to any teams on this list. We respect all these teams are great teams. So if you think
full disrespect.
Yeah, well, no. If you think a team,
the 16th team is being disrespected.
Well, they are, but like they also made the playoffs, and like they're still a good team. Like, no disrespect.
Absolutely.
I'll speak on behalf of myself. Maybe you guys will.
No. I feel that each team should be respected, but whoever's at 16, their fans are gonna come for us feeling like they are disrespected and slept on, which naturally makes sense. There you go. I love it. We're gonna do 16 to 13 to start. We'll go increments of 4. I feel like it's just a nice number with 16 teams, and we'll start with Pac, and we'll go back to me. We'll just reveal the teams first, and then we'll kind of talk them out and give our one reason why for each. So Pac, let's start. 16 to 13 for you.
All right, number 16, full disrespect.
Full disrespect.
16, I got the Los Angeles Kings. 15, I've got the Anaheim Ducks. 14, I've got the Utah Mammoth. 13, I got the Philadelphia Flyers.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't sound so shocked.
No, I'm pretty shocked. So you got Kings, Ducks, Mammoth, Flyers.
There was one team that surprised me a little bit there. All right, 16, I've got the Los Angeles Kings. 15, I've got the Anaheim Ducks. 14, I've got the Boston Bruins. 13, I've got the Philadelphia Flyers.
Wow, you guys are a lot higher on Philly than I am. I mean, it's like 3 spots, 4 spots.
Yeah, man,
I gotta apologize
to Philly fan.
Philly's been really good down the stretch.
16,
I was wrong about Philly.
At 16, I've got the Philadelphia Flyers. At 15, I've got the Anaheim Ducks. 14, the LA Kings. And 13, the Boston Bruins. So I think the only team, there are 3 teams that overlap on all of our lists. It's the Kings, the Ducks, and the Flyers. We all have them in this range.
I think we have the same.
We have the same for the most part. Bruins are both of our teams, and then you have the Mammoth as well. So let's start with the LA Kings, because you've got them both as the number 16 team on this list. Why do you have the LA Kings in the 16 spot and essentially disrespecting them?
Again,
I'm joking.
You know, they made the playoffs. Good on them. It's a very uncharacteristic point total to make the playoffs. I think
For
they're
sure.
somewhere near 19th, 20th in the entire NHL. There's several East teams that missed out. That
Yeah,
have
but
more
they're
points
right
than
there
the
with some other teams
Yeah, they
that
also,
are way higher
you know,
on the list that have the same point totals.
pretty much went down to the final day of a chance to win the Pacific Division. So kudos to them.
I mean, they
in
could
that
still
respect.
be in the top 3, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
I just think when it comes to the Kings, maybe I can't shake the stat, the idea, the fact that they have gotten by with so many overtime losses, the loser point, and a lack of regulation wins. And when it comes down
22.
to it, in the playoffs, that just does not get you by. I think this team has regressed in a year where we expected them to take a leap. I think they've been better the last couple weeks. The Panarin trade obviously has helped them a lot. It sucks that Kevin Fiala went down, but at the end of the day, the offense on this team and the firepower that they have, to me, they have to be 16.
Interesting.
So I think I kind of struggled a bit with the Kings because they've actually been playing really well down the stretch. They've been good defensively, and I'm pretty sure that. Yeah, they've been pretty good defensively lately. If I'm
They've
not
been
mistaken.
one of the best teams defensively all year long. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of what we expect of this team regardless.
I think they're fourth in the last 20 games too at 5-on-5 in terms of their offense. I think they've actually been scoring a lot more recently too. But the one thing with the Kings is that they've kind of had just like a bit of a cakewalk stretch going up to the playoffs, and I kind of worry that have they been beating that good teams lately? They don't have Kevin Fiala. I could just see the Kings getting to the playoffs and just like playing against a good playoff team and just struggle to find a bit of offense. Panarin's been great, and he's a guy that potentially could have been on our top 25 list as well when we did those for
sure.
the last show. He was kind of in that bubble range, but I don't know. Again, I think a lot of these teams in this 12 to or 13 to 16 range for me are like pretty even. They're a little interchangeable, but I don't know. The Kings are good. They don't wow me, but I mean, they are a good team and they've been playing well lately, so no disrespect to them.
The only reason I guess I have them a couple spots ahead of you guys is I think their defense is right there with Philly, that's kind of their calling card this season. But I just like what they have on offense more, truthfully, where like you have Panarin, you have Kempe, you've got Kopitar. Even on defense with Brant Clark and some of those guys, I just feel like they've got more puck movement back there and a little more offense that can be generated from the D zone for them. So that was kind of basically the factor for me of having them just 2 spots ahead of you guys and where you had them. So it's not like that big of a difference, but I will say I think if they can somehow avoid, because we are filming this on the last day of the regular season, if they can somehow avoid Edmonton and somehow play the Ducks in the first round, how crazy would that be? That this team is probably the favorite in that series, maybe?
Yeah.
Potentially. Like, the Ducks have sputtered down the stretch, and the Kings are just one of the best road teams in hockey this year, and no expectations, and they can maybe just steal a series and somehow make it to the second round of the playoffs. It would be fascinating. Let's give one reason why this team will and won't win the Cup, and I believe, Pock, this was you who had the Kings.
Yeah, so my reason the Kings will win the Cup is because there's no franchise in North American sports that thrives more as a bottom seed. And there's a chance that they can be the 8th seed.
it.
Obviously, right now, you mentioned it's the final day of the regular season. We'll see what happens tonight. But regardless, they're the bottom seed on my list. So I'm calling you out as 16. Prove me wrong, LA. They're the first team in NHL history to win the Stanley Cup as an 8th seed. And they were the only team, or the first team to do that in North American sports at the time. So they are best when people are counting them out. Let's see it from the Kings. Why they won't win the Cup: you don't get 1 point for losing in overtime in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
And it's not 3-on-3 either.
Yeah.
It's 5-on-5.
Yeah,
It's
that's my
the same
reason why
hockey
they
game.
won't win.
I like it. Another guy to shout out with them, too, is Quinton Byfield. He's got 10 goals and 15 points down the stretch here in the last 15, where the Kings have gone 8-2-5. So he's really...
5 overtime
him
losses.
cook.
5 overtime losses.
So 500 hockey, 8 wins, 7 losses.
Basically. But that has helped them
yeah,
get
you can
to
win
the
a
playoffs.
playoff series if you're winning, 8 out of 15.
You
can win
definitely
2
could.
playoff series.
You definitely could. Let's talk the Ducks. We all had them at 15, so we were pretty unanimous on them being in that 15 spot. They've really sputtered down the stretch here. It's kind of been ugly for them, and they're lucky that obviously they had such a strong start to the season that their playoff positioning was never really in doubt. But
they were also missing Cutter.
They were.
They
lost
lost
Leo
every-
Carlson
they
was
lost
been
every
hurt as
time.
well.
They lost every game without Cutter.
100%. It shows how important he is.
Yeah.
But we'll start with you, Jesse. The Ducks' outlook going into the playoffs in your mind. We have them at 15, but this is still one of the most exciting teams in hockey, especially offensively.
For sure. And you guys know I've been high on the Ducks all season.
You have.
And I feel like they can be a little streaky at times. They have been streaky this year. But, I just down the stretch, they have not been good. Like, they've allowed the 17th most goals against over their last 20 games at 5-on-5. And they have the 20th most goals with 43 over that same stretch. They were missing Cutter for parts of that time as well at 5-on-5. And I don't know if that's going to cut it, like going into the playoffs. Like have been going in the wrong direction. And I think Dostal is a guy who hasn't really been that good lately. I mean,
I agree.
When I did my research lately, in his last 5 games, 3.94 GAA, .833 save percentage with a 1-4 record. Like, he's got to turn that around quickly or the Ducks are going to be in some serious trouble. And I like the Ducks. I mean, should I give my reason why they can and can't win? Was that my team?
No, you if it is your team for sure, maybe we'll end it with that. But you're right.
Yeah.
They Dostal has played 56 games. He's 62nd in goals saved above expected this season. That's just not good enough. He's been a better player throughout the course of his career than that. And if they're gonna upset anyone in the playoffs, it probably starts with him.
Yeah, but like the thing about the Ducks is that they have all these exciting pieces that you're like, man, like this team could do some damage if they find the right groove. They have Leo Carlson, Cutter Gauthier, John Carlson now they have. And they have, and I mean, Chris Kreider obviously can do his thing in the playoffs. They've got other good they got Jacob Trouba, who can be kind of a beast he's a hard hitter in the playoffs, let's just say that. Like they have all these pieces to make a run. I just feel like, are they going to put it together? That's kind of just what I'm wondering. I hope they do. I love the Ducks.
I think their future is so bright. Like, we all know about. But they also do have a good mix, like you were alluding to, Jesse, of veteran players that you feel like in a 7-game series can bring that experience and can kind of mentor these younger stars into say, hey, like, this is what the playoffs look like. This is what's going to go into a series. And these are all the ingredients that it's going to take. I just think when I look at the Ducks, they feel still to me like they were a little too raw and they're a couple years away. Maybe not even a couple. Maybe it's just 1 year away, and I think this is going to be very valuable experience for them. But I really can't trust them with how streaky they've been and how up and down they've been to really go into a series and be the better team over 7 games. So,
and what's happening right now? Like, I think that
they feel a little too leaky, man.
There's something to be said. Like, you can look at the season as a whole, but you got to look at like what's been going on in the last 20 games. What's been going on in the last 10 games.
They're 1-9 in or 1 win in their last 9 games. Sorry.
Yeah,
it's not good going into the playoffs.
It's not good, and like, you never know. Like, teams can kind of flick a switch and
For sure.
and turn things around. But in the same breath, yeah, I think regardless if you're a Ducks fan, you got to look at this season as a positive as a whole,
Absolutely.
regardless of what happens in the playoffs, and just take this as valuable, a valuable experience for the young core. And just, if you can get a series win or two, that's awesome. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's still a lot to be happy about as a Ducks fan from this season.
Completely agree. That run and gun style is tough in the playoffs, where like if you're not scoring and giving up a lot of chances, it's not going to end well for you. Where teams play a lot tighter defensively, and it's a matchup that teams are preparing for as well. It's not just a random Tuesday night kind of thing. So the run and gun style, we'll see if it works, and they'll be probably the most exciting team in the playoffs as far as that goes, because they're not backing down from anyone with that offensive talent. One reason why they will and won't win the cup.
I think a reason why they will is because they have a really nice 3-headed monster in both the Carlsons and Cutter Gauthier. And I mean, with that kind of skill, like, you kind of wonder how far can that trio take this team. You have a guy in John Carlson who's been there before, done this. What a great addition for that roster for something like the playoffs. And a reason why they won't, I mean, I guess you can also talk about the inexperience. Like, you talk about John Carlson's experience, but then you talk about the inexperience of Leo Carlson, Cutter Gauthier, Mason McTavish, Troy Terry, all these younger guys who don't have a lot of experience in the playoffs. I think there's something to be said about that. And if Dostal doesn't pick it up, then they're toast. That just plain and simple, he's got to play better.
We can talk about the Mammoth and Bruins maybe in the next one when they're both revealed for all of us, because I think they're coming up. So let's, to close out this section, we'll just talk about the Flyers. You guys both have them at 13. I've got them at 16. Again, really like not a whole lot separating them here, but the Flyers kind of under Rick Tocchet this first year back in the playoffs. They've done it in an unconventional way for sure, where defense first, and Dan Vladar has been incredible for them. What can we expect, or what do you expect of them in the playoffs to have them ahead of some teams that have been here before and probably have more talent on paper, and the Ducks specifically, and even the Kings?
I just think they've earned my respect down the stretch. I actually answered someone in the YouTube comments yesterday who called me out because when we did the who's in, who's out, I was very disrespectful to the Flyers and said, hey, they're shootout merchants. They don't have a lot of regulation wins. They don't have a lot of firepower, really.
Both things can be true.
Well, they got in, and you know what? Since the Olympic break, they've got the third or second best record in the NHL. Dan Vladar has quietly been one of the best goalies in the NHL this season. Matvei Michkov, in a horrible year where he showed up to training camp out of shape, and he had an ankle injury, and he's been in Rick Tocchet's doghouse at 51 points, which isn't the worst
third on the team.
Sophomore slump. And Porter Martone's given them a nice boost, too, since he's coming to the lineup. Oliver Bonk got
three goals and 5 assists in 8 games for Porter Martone.
Crazy.
Oh, it's more. 4 goals and 6 assists.
Sorry. That's before.
He scored against the Habs.
He scored against the Habs.
Oliver Bonk scored against the Habs.
Mitchkov
had 3 points 2 nights ago.
2 nights ago.
So, like, you know what? We can...
So you're buying the defensive Vladar...
I'm just thinking, like, they're going into a series against Pittsburgh, and I guess
it's a winnable series.
But like it's very winnable.
Yeah. It's much more winnable than whoever
back
the Kings
and forth. It's going to be tough, and I just think like we look at teams the last 2-3 months of the season, and we see kind of how they respond to maybe having a tough stretch early on. And when we were sitting here talking Olympic hockey, there wasn't even a thought that entered any of our heads that the Flyers, 1, could be a playoff team, and 2, that their rebuild is actually on course or on a trajectory that's positive. And now in the last 2 months, they've played good enough hockey where both those things are true. So I just think that they deserve my respect. They deserve my apology at the same time. And I think they're going to give Pittsburgh a really, really fun, tough series.
I'm pretty sure they've given up the least goals at 5-on-5 over the last 20 games in the NHL.
They're one of the best teams in doing that. Them and the Kings are up there as far as expected goals against at 5-on-5.
Maybe we should have both these teams in our top 5s.
Vladar.
Maybe not in our top 5s, but he's been exceptional.
I don't know if he played last game, but
no, Erson played.
Yeah, so in his last 6 games, 5-1, 1.81 GAA, 9.21 save percentage. That to me is a series with Philly and Pittsburgh. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Philly kind of found a way to pull it off there. But it'll be a good one.
The jump Vladar has taken, where he's played 22 more games than any season in his career this year, and it's just been exceptional. 10th in the league in goals saved above expected. He has been everything for that team. I think the firepower definitely leaves a little to be desired, but at the same time, like, it's a fun young team as well, where the juxtaposition between them and Anaheim, with all the different trades they've had to make with each other, to see them both, it feels like they're in similar spots, truthfully, where like you have a lot of young guys getting their first playoff experience. Philly's the more defensive team, Anaheim's the more offensive team, and now all of these guys get a really cool stage and opportunity in the first round in their first playoff experience to maybe shock the world, but at least get valuable experience to continue building these two franchises in the right way, because it seems like finally both teams have figured it out. They're getting the development they needed from these top picks, and
they're scoring, Philly. Aren't they?
They are.
And like
they're scoring a little bit more.
Man, they absolutely beat the crap out of the Jets 7-1.
They did.
They got some guys on that team that can score. Like Konechny's a great player. Tippett's a good player. Martone's been great. Mitchkov's great. Like Zegras is another guy. Had I not even mentioned him, like they actually do have. Is Philly? Man, honestly, I actually wrote it. I actually wrote in my notes. I literally wrote is is Philly a wagon? That's what I last wrote.
I don't know.
I
if
wrote
they're
that dot is Philly a wagon.
I don't know if they're a wagon quite yet. I think I need to see a little more from their
Full
offense.
disrespect, they're not a wagon.
They're not a wagon. I've got one reason they can and can't win. For me, it was just like, how far does defense take them, and does Vladar have a playoff run in him? Where this has been an amazing season, but this is an out of norm season for him. And
He's no Michael Leighton, is what you're trying to say.
He could be, though. He very well could be. And I think Philly knows a lot about those goalies like that have taken them pretty far in the past. So that's one reason they can win, is defense wins championships as far as hockey is concerned, where if you can get enough goals, if you are playing really good defensive hockey and your goalie is playing well, you can steal multiple series in the playoffs. We've seen a lot of teams win and have that winning formula. One of the reasons they can't win to me, though, was their power play. And it goes back to the scoring, and their power play is just worst in the league at 15.7%. And no other playoff teams other than the Kings are in the bottom 5, and then you've got the Avs and Ducks in the bottom 10. And so I trust the Avs and Ducks offensive talent a lot more than I do Philly to get by a bad power play. But if the Flyers aren't scoring on the power play, there might be some issues. Let's go to now number 12 through 9 for our teams. And I know, like I said, we'll talk about Utah and Boston specifically, because I think both of them are going to come up in all of our lists once we're done here. So, Puck, we'll start with you for 12 to 9.
12, I have the Pittsburgh Penguins. 11, the Boston Bruins. 10, the Ottawa Senators. And 9, the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, we're pretty similar here, Pac. 12, Pittsburgh Penguins. 11, Utah Mammoth. 10, Ottawa Senators. 9, Montreal Canadiens.
Wow, okay. So, yeah, we really do have a lot of similar teams here. I have 12 the Pittsburgh Penguins, 11 the Utah Mammoth, 10 the Buffalo Sabres, and 9 the Ottawa Senators.
Wow, Sabres at 10.
I do. I'm not 100. We'll save the Sabres. Let's start with the Penguins, because we literally, I believe, all have them at 12. So we're aligned on a couple of teams here. The Pittsburgh Penguins obviously locked into that matchup with the Philadelphia Flyers. They're getting healthier.
Which I will say, one of the most intriguing matchups. You have the first round. You have
Battle
a team,
of Philly, or the Battle of Pennsylvania. Sorry,
you have a team that's been playing amazing defensively, playing against the hottest team offensively. I'm pretty sure in the league right now. Pittsburgh's been at 5-on-5. They've been the best team in the league, or scoring the most goals up until the last game at least. I can't say that, but going into it, I'm pretty sure 65 goals at even strength. They've been absolutely humming offensively, but defensively they haven't really been as solid lately, right? Or I mean, they've been giving up a lot more goals lately.
It's kind of been their MO all season long, where they're a top 5 offensive team and a bottom 5 rather, or bottom 10 rather, defensive team in goals, or expected goals against and expected goals for. So their calling card is offense right now, and it's a fascinating matchup from that perspective. What can we expect from this Penguins team in the playoffs? Are you guys ready to turn back the clock with Carlson and Letang and Crosby and Malkin, and it's enough to give them a deep run? Should we be expecting that, or should we just kind of have some caution with the Penguins back in the playoffs for the first time in 4 years?
Just give me one more run of Sidney Crosby. Like you said, it's been a long time. So the last time they were in the playoffs was a COVID
2022
year, like a weird COVID year.
No, it was the year after.
They didn't win the series.
It was the Rangers series when
you're right.
They lost in 7 games. Where
Crosby was hurt.
Wasn't it 2022?
Yes, it was. They had who did they have in net? They had like a backup goalie in net. I'm gonna look it up while we do this, but it was Panarin that scored.
Spicy pork and broccoli, Louis Domingue.
Yes, that's who it was. They had and Shesterkin was playing out of his mind, stealing. Yeah. Those were the fraud Rangers. That's right. Where the fraud Rangers came from. Was that team?
That's right.
Just give me one more, Sid. Just give me one more run. I'd love to see it. I think the Penguins have been a great story this year. Overachieved, proved us all wrong all season. They've gotten a lot of offense out of players where maybe we didn't see this coming. I think guys like Anthony Mantha have just had like monster seasons. And
leads the team in goals. Yeah. Career high in goals for him. 33.
Maybe they can keep it fun. I think Philly, Pittsburgh takes me back to like Voracek, Giroux versus Crosby and Malkin. And it's funny because Crosby and Malkin are still the guys, and Letang are still the guys on Pittsburgh. And this is a very, very new Philly team. So kind of old school versus new school. Should be a very fun one. I wouldn't place an expectation on Pittsburgh. I think you hope to win the first round. I don't think it's as clear cut as that. I think it's a kind of a
Who knows, man?
coin flip series. So if you can win a first round, I think it's a successful playoff. But,
Okay, but then Pittsburgh wins the first round, and then they had guys like Crosby, Malkin still playing at elite levels, Carlson playing elite. You're like, okay, they got past the first round. Like,
I know,
could they keep it going here?
like Carolina,
Like-
if Carolina does get through, I'm not saying that that's a foregone conclusion, but we'll see when we get there, though. But anything can happen. It's the playoffs. I'm just looking forward to watching Crosby and Malkin. Like, who knows? This could be the last
knows?
time that we
That's
get
true.
to see these guys.
Who,
So.
really, like, who knows? Like, that's why it's so hard to gauge the Penguins, because it's like, okay, these guys get to the playoffs. You obviously know what they're capable of doing, but, like, it's been a while. My concern with the Penguins, they've been scoring a lot of goals lately, but, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure they haven't beaten a playoff team since March 26. And I could be wrong, but that is 11 games ago. They've allowed, before last game at least, 30 goals against in their last 7 games. And to me, like, you talk, like, without actually being a wild card team, you talk about like a true wild card team. Like, you don't really know what you're going to get out of them in the playoffs. To me, it's kind of the Penguins. Like, they can score so many goals. They're playing against a good defensive team in the first round. They have all these guys that have been there before. Are they going to get the goaltending? They're just like a very up in the air team for me, but they're so exciting. I think they're for sure one of the most exciting teams to watch in the playoffs. So
I'd agree with that. I think what's cool about this roster is, like, and I wrote this for DSC the other day, but they have a combined 93 goals from people that didn't play last season with them, which is like Mantha, Brazo, Kindle, like all of these different guys have
So
combined.
Kyle Dubas was just cooking this offseason, is what you're saying.
Sorry, it's actually 101. I messed up in DSC and we went back and forth. It's 101 goals from guys, and it's 5 guys in particular that you can shout out that are outside of Crosby and Malkin and the usual suspects. But it's Mantha, who leads the team in goals and set a career high. It's Chinnikov, who has 18 since coming over in 43 games. It's Kindle with 17. It's Brazo with 17. And it's Novak with 16. And these guys scored no goals with the team last year. And I think Novak came over for 2 games last year, trade deadline or that kind of situation. But they're getting a ton of offense from so many different people.
Chinnikov scoring at a 35-goal pace is incredible.
he's been amazing. That was an unbelievable addition.
Unbelievable.
I'm sure Rick
addition,
Bowness would have loved to have a guy like that who tries at the end of the season.
One reason they won't and will win the cup for you for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
One reason they won't win is because right now it's hard to convince me that they are going to lock things down on the back end. And it's hard for me to buy a goalie getting hot. It's hard for me to buy them just keeping
core.
teams, to not scoring more than 2-3 goals a game, 3 goals a game. And why they win? Crosby's got one more run in him. The leadership, every time I think about this guy.
How about Malkin also, man? He's been great.
Of course, but
He's been great.
I just always think about that clip when Pittsburgh was playing San Jose in the Stanley Cup final, and Malkin missed a chance, and all the guys on the bench were groaning and like, "Oh my gosh, how did he miss that?" And Crosby just turned to them and he was like, "Guys, he knows, okay? Like, it's gonna be fine." I love Sid. He's the best.
Let's move on to the Mammoth and Bruins finally, because I think they're all revealed for us here. We all, if I'm not, or me and Jesse had the Mammoth both at 11.
I already.
Yeah.
And you already you had them a little lower than us.
I'm surprised. I struggle not putting the Mammoth a little higher.
I know, I did too.
If you
I
asked
just
me like 2 months ago, yeah, I'd have them higher.
So what's changed in the last 2 months?
I feel like they've just kind of been on autopilot, and I don't think there's maybe
Really?
anything wrong. But like, if you think about their situation, you are stapled to 4th place in the Central. They were never catching Dallas. They were never catching Minnesota. Obviously, Colorado was way ahead of everyone. So yeah, can the season get a little long and draining? Maybe, but in the end, they almost slipped to wild card 2, which I think was a little bit ridiculous.
They almost
I
did,
like
but
the
they
Mammoth.
didn't.
I think they got a lot of good, talented young players that they'll be very exciting in this playoff and in years to come. At the end of the day, why I had them below teams like Philly, Pittsburgh, Boston, I just feel like lately those teams have been kind of fighting for their lives and playing with a little bit more urgency.
Interesting.
But I think it's very interchangeable, kind of from 11 to 14 on my list. So that's Boston, Pittsburgh, Philly, Utah. I wouldn't really fight you too much if you kind of flipped all those teams around, whereas 15 and 16 Ducks and Kings had a little bit more clarity for. But I guess maybe it's a little harsh, but someone's got to be in the 14 slot.
Yeah, but
That's fair.
You also look at Utah; they're pretty deep, man. Like they're really deep. And a guy who's been having low key an amazing year, Nick Schmaltz, has been incredible
he's been good.
this year. And you look at their centers with him and Cooley, that's a pretty good duo. And they've got lots of guys all over that lineup. Their top 6 is great. They have guys like Gunther, obviously, who's been amazing. They've got Paterka, who's another great player. And defensively, I mean, adding Uyghur as well. Maybe on defense I'd say maybe they're not quite as strong as some of the other teams, but Vejmelka also has been winning a lot of games lately. His stats haven't been amazing though.
Played a ton.
He's played a ton. And that's one thing
I think he faced the most shots or top 3 in shots faced this season. He had a big workload and he's kind of answered the bell. I just think we know they have good players, but I mean at the end of the day these are all playoff teams now we're talking about. The margins are
But you think the Bruins are better than the? Well, I guess they finished with more points. I guess.
And I think
I don't
to
know.
me the one that I fought on was I had Philly at 13, I had Utah at 14, and Philly's been a top 3 team since the Olympic break. So I just feel like they deserve to be. I mean, I only put them at 13. It's not like I'm saying they're amazing, but I just feel like they deserve to be ahead of them because of on form.
I understand that. I can respect that. I think the Mammoth have been one of the most consistent teams all year long. They're top 12 in expected goals for and expected goals against at 5-on-5. Their special teams are good. Out of all the teams that are in this range, I just feel like they're the deepest, truthfully. Even on defense, on offense especially, where if you can go Schmaltz, Cooley, Kerfoot, and even Stenlund deep, I think a lot of people would be happy if those are your centers. And then Keller is obviously amazing. Gunther's a 40-goal scorer. Turk playing on their third line. This is a really decent, talented team.
They have a very high ceiling, in my opinion.
I will say they've also. I mean, I know you said they're kind of faltering down the stretch. They went 9-5. They beat 4 playoff teams in that run, and one of them was Vegas, and they're 2-1 against Vegas this season as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Vegas in the first round. I'm with you. I had a tough time not putting them higher because I have the belief that this team is not a one and done team, and I think they're scary because of how deep they are. And I think their talent probably gets underrated by just them not being the biggest names in the world. But I think that top 9 is just so good and so deep and a lot better than people probably give them credit for.
I struck them and Ottawa were 2 teams for me that I was
similar,
I was juggling. I was these are 2 pretty similar teams.
Very similar.
And I just put Ottawa barely ahead of them. But we can also talk about Ottawa. I mean, we got to talk about a reason why they.
I'll give you my one reason because I had the Mammoth. It just balanced offensively was my reason they can win this because they're so deep and have so many different guys that can contribute. It's all 4 lines with this team. It really is. And they have one of the best home ice advantages in the league. I think
with
we've experienced that. The Zammoth. But special teams leave a little to be desired. They're kind of bottom 15 in both penalty kill and power play. And for a team that has this much talent offensively, surprises me a little bit. But we'll see what that looks like in the playoffs when goal scoring is a little tougher. Your special teams, I feel can sometimes be the difference between winning and losing. And their special teams just haven't been consistent all year long for a team with this much talent. So that's kind of a flaw for me, along with Vejmelka not knowing is this workload going to get to him in the playoffs finally, because playing that many games, saving that many shots.
I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
As a Jets fan.
Yeah. No, it's a legitimate question for sure.
Yeah.
I think he's talking about Hellebuck.
We'll see how Dovish does.
Bruins next.
We'll see how Dovish does.
Let's do the Bruins next. I think I had them the lowest out of everyone, 13 for me, and then you both had them in this range. Pac, I believe you had them.
No, I had them at 14 actually.
Okay, you had them at 14. So Bruins? Pac had them the highest. What makes you believe in the Bruins more so than some of these other teams?
I mean, they battled in a very, very tough Atlantic, and I think last season, last place in the East, we kind of felt like, all right, time has caught up to this Bruins team, tear it down. But then you look back at their roster, and I actually think they have the 3 biggest, most important ingredients to actually go on a playoff run.
We talked about this.
And that's an 100-point player in David Pastrnak, who has carried this offense all season long, 70-plus assist season. a top 5 defenseman in the NHL in Charlie McAvoy, and a goaltender capable of getting hot that has been relatively hot all season long. A huge bounce back year after allowing the most goals in the NHL last year in Jeremy Swayman.
You're missing an ingredient.
What's my ingredient?
They're centers, man. Are they deep enough at center?
Probably not, but I think
Elias Lindholm, Pavel Zacha. Like, Zacha's good, obviously.
Zacha's
but, like,
had a great
Minton's good.
season.
Okay, Lindholm, Zacha, Minton, and Corrali. Is that going to get it done at center for the Bruins? I don't think it is. Not to disrespect them, but like if you're comparing that center group to like other centers in the league, I think from sorry to interject, but like the main thing for me when I'm evaluating like what is a good recipe, you got to talk about good center, number 1 D, and a good goalie, and like that has historically I think been like a big part of the recipe. But I don't know, 100-point score, I get it, but like, is Boston good enough down the middle?
I just think if Pasta gets going and he's got a good track record in the playoffs, and you have your sort of role players, I mean, you're talking about the center group. I think you're undervaluing a little bit the contributions that they can bring on the defensive side of the puck, especially guys like Lindholm. I think Fraser Minton's had a really, really good season, and he's shown that he can carry a big workload in the playoff series. And I just think we're looking at their first round matchup. Buffalo's going to be tough. They've had such a good season, but Boston's also the more experienced team in this respect. And I think, they have a 100-point season in the Atlantic Division. It's tough. I feel like ranking them as the 11th best team in the playoffs isn't a crazy idea.
No,
I don't think it's crazy. I think they've got one of the best shooting percentages in the league, and like it's dried up for some guys. Like Geeky has 6 goals in his last 23 games, and 3 of them came in a game against Carolina recently. Yeah. So he's actually got 3 goals in his last 22 games, which is not very good. And outside of him, they don't have a ton of goal scoring talent.
23 goals at 5-on-5 over the last 10.
This is
that's
one
20th in the. I'm pretty sure that's what is that?
2.3 goals a game. Swayman allows less than that. There you go. You win every night.
Well, that's the thing. Swayman needs to play out of his mind.
So I actually don't think their defense is all that good, and I think it's been leaking, and Swayman has been saving them because they are one of the worst teams. They're with the Islanders, Leafs, Canucks, and Chicago in expected goals against at 5-on-5.
And guess what? One of those teams has a good goalie. It's the Islanders, and they do well for themselves. That's why it's good to have a goalie like Jeremy Swayman, who's going to be valuable in the playoffs.
It is good, but then when you can't score because their expected goals for are also with teams like Calgary and the Rangers, they're 12th worst in that category. I just don't believe in anything they're doing outside of Pasta and Swayman. And I think that
McAvoy's a stud as well.
I think he's good, but I mean, team defense has clearly been an issue for them outside of Jeremy Swayman. So that's why I have them way lower than you do, because I truly am just not a believer in this team. I don't think how they're constructed is any sort of good, and I think they kind of used a really hot start to the season to their advantage and have played well enough to make it into the playoffs this year. But I don't think they're as good as their 100-point campaign kind of says they are, personally.
Well, I already said why I think they win, and that was my ingredients. Why I don't win, I have written down that they don't have enough depth, which, I mean, Jesse already brought up.
We've kind of talked about that.
I'd agree with you. That's their hole, especially at center, down the middle. But you know what, Luca, you were pretty low on Buffalo, and Jesse and I, we haven't mentioned them yet.
Yeah, so we'll talk about them soon. We won't talk about them
yet. I think that's going to be a fun series.
I think it will be too.
Sure.
I think it will be too. You guys mentioned a couple teams that the Sens and Habs. I haven't mentioned either one of those teams, so I think we just let's move on to our 9 to.
I thought you mentioned the Sens.
I thought you mentioned the Habs.
And the Habs.
Or no, Sens.
No, you didn't mention the Habs.
Sens I mentioned, didn't mention the Habs. So I have the Habs at Habs are coming up, but I have the Sens at 9. You guys both have them at 10, I believe.
I have the Habs at 9.
You have the Habs at 9?
Sens 10. Habs
yeah, Sens.
9. Yeah.
So you both have the Sens at 10. I have the Sens at 9. I truly struggled with where I wanted to put Ottawa. I wanted to put them higher. I think this team is like, they are playing amazing hockey right now down the stretch, and I think this is one of the most underrated teams in the league, and the only question is goaltending. That's the only question I have with them. I think their D group is deep. I think their forward group is one of the deepest in hockey. I think they have so much talent up and down this lineup that if they can get a run from Allmark, this team could be in the conference finals easily. I think Carolina needs to be on upset alert in round 1 because I wanted to put this team in like the top 7. I really did.
You guys were both saying
I put them at 10.
I thought you guys were both saying that you thought Carolina was gonna lose to Ottawa in the first round.
I didn't say I think they're going to lose. I think that
I think
Ottawa
they-
is
You're
going to
just
give
talking
them a
about
good
I think they will.
It'll be
honestly.
like a good watch. I think. I think the 4 series in the East are anyone's game, and they're going to be really, really fun this year. So.
I think Carolina's getting a little disrespected. Nothing against Ottawa. I think Ottawa's incredible, and they could for sure beat them. But I think Carolina's also having a great year. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
What's crazy is the Sens are the best team and expected goals against at 5-on-5 this season, and they're 8th best in offense in that category. So you want to talk about like a well-balanced team? This is it. They just need the goaltending, because if they get it, this team can go on a run.
I think
and now they're healthy
We call
as
them
well.
contenders.
More of a big if, because of track record. I know he's been better lately, but just Allmark just has not given them that this season.
100%.
He's been good lately.
So it can be
He's
like,
been really good lately.
I don't know. At the end of the, I'd value just their actual goals against more than the expected, because that's
For
what
sure.
we've seen over an 82 game sample size with Allmark, right? So
That is for sure all that matters. I think this fight to get into the playoffs has been really promising.
They've been
as
very
far
good down the stretch.
They have been. I think that's lifted them a little higher for me. But getting Jake Sanderson back was also just massive. He is arguably their most important piece because of everything he can do for them on offense, on defense.
So Buffalo almost played Ottawa. Like, would you have taken Ottawa
I
over
would have taken
Buffalo in
Ottawa
that
in a
series?
heartbeat, I think I would have taken Ottawa in a heartbeat.
I don't know. Buffalo's so
I don't know
good.
about a heartbeat.
Buffalo's,
I don't know. I feel like that would be a coin toss.
Buffalo's incredible, but I just kind of want to see them in the playoffs first. But to me, I would probably take Buffalo.
Ottawa doesn't have like that much. I mean, they were there last year, but like talking about experience, it's I get it. Like Buffalo is inexperienced too, but
I think they've got a ton of experience. The Sabres hype, and we'll get to them. I don't know how hyped we should be going. I think we should be a little
did you
more
have them,
cautious.
11?
I had them at 10.
Okay, let's.
I had them at 10. Let's read our 8 to 4.
let's talk about Montreal. Should we talk about them next?
We'll talk about them next because I've yet to reveal
Okay.
them.
Have we done a reason why they will and won't?
We have not for the Sens. Who had the Sens? I had the Sens. There we go. I went over the reason they will. Top 10 in expected goals for and against. I think teams like that typically go far in the playoffs. The one question is goaltending. That's the reason why they won't. That's the reason why they were in the playoff. This team could have been first in the Atlantic if they got 50% better goaltending.
They were also
this year.
last in the East, and not in the East, in the Atlantic in like December.
I know.
So
Yeah, and it's literally just goaltending with this team, which makes me
Allmark
want to bang my
stats
head.
in April: 1.83 GAA, 926 save percentage, 5-1 record.
It's pretty good.
Vezina numbers right
It's
there.
pretty good. Okay, let's go 8 to 5 here.
Number 8, the Buffalo Sabres. Number 7, the Vegas Golden Knights. Number 6, the Edmonton Oilers. And number 5, the Carolina Hurricanes.
This is where things are starting to get interesting.
Wow.
Number 8, the Buffalo Sabres. Number 7, the Minnesota Wild. Number 6, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Number 5, the Carolina Hurricanes.
Wow.
Got Edmonton way up there, eh?
Okay. Number 8, the Montreal Canadiens. Number 7, the Vegas Golden Knights. Number 6, the Minnesota Wild. And number 5, the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, man, this is getting interesting.
This is crazy.
Where
Okay.
do we even start?
Let's start with the Sabres because they're 10 for me. They're only 8 for you guys, so it's not like you have
it's not
them
a huge
so
discrepancy.
far ahead. I really do. Like, I think this team is good. I think they've been on a magical run where they were last and now they're first. Like,
I don't know. They have a lot of good players.
They
Like,
do have a
you
lot of
watch
good
this
players.
team-
I don't disagree with you. I also think that, like, they don't have as many established players as some of the other teams like Ottawa. Like, I think Ottawa has way more established guys that have done this for a long, long time. Whereas, yeah, Josh Jones having a great year. Like, he's having an awesome year. Jack Quinn hit 20 goals. That's awesome.
Peyton Krebs has been good. Josh Norris, and like these
he's
are
been
all
good.
their
He's
like
got-
secondary guys. What
whole
Peyton Krebs
team-
finished with
the
40
whole
points.
team. The
It
team
just
is
seems
so
like
deep.
they're getting contributions all down the lineup, and that's without even talking about
Darlene has been unbelievable.
Darlene
Darlene's
Thompson,
been
Thompson's
amazing.
been
who
insane.
in any
Tage has
series
been awesome.
you can
They're
argue they're two
just
best
so,
players.
They're just so stacked, and like I think that like the frustrating thing with Buffalo is like we were kind of just waiting to be like, okay, they've got all the talent, but they can't put it all together.
Do you
well,
really-
they've been putting it all together this year. They've been pretty good.
Do you really think this forward group's better than Ottawa's?
Yeah, I think it's deeper.
Really?
It's close. It's close. Like I had
That kind of
Stutzla
shocks
ranked
me.
as my highest rated player out of the two teams in terms of forwards
Yeah.
when we did our top 25 players. But
They're just so deep.
I just
Buffalo.
think, yeah. But
Okay,
I don't
but
know,
we're talking about like
Buffalo's
Stützle, Batherson, Cousins, Kachuk, Giroux, Pinto. These are all 40-plus point, 20-goal scorers as well. That's 6 deep.
I think you can equally match that with the Sabres, and then your decore's a little bit deeper too.
You can equally match that with the Sabres?
They've been scoring a lot of goals this year. Like what they're
Okay.
doing is
Like,
You know, some of them-
Tage, Tuck,
Tuck has been
Doan?
Tuck has been incredible this year.
Tage, Tuck,
been so
Doan,
good.
and Quinn. Who else can you match with that? You're relying on Jason Zucker?
Benson's
I'm not
a good-
going to say
Benson's a
Zucker's
good
been
player.
better. He's a good player. That's fine.
Zucker's actually been great.
He's
this
got
year.
24 goals, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, I just think from a talent perspective, like, I think Ottawa clears their top guys pretty clearly. in my
I don't think it's as clear as you're making it out to be.
I think
But
it is,
I
but-
just think the proof's in the pudding. Like Buffalo's been the best team in the Atlantic, which was, you can argue, has been the most competitive division in the NHL this year.
Buffalo's blue line has also been great.
And
They
that was
have
with
been.
a
They
slow
figured it
start.
out.
Like,
They've just been consistent. I keep saying like in their last 20 games. I'm pretty sure in their last 20 games they had 5-on-5, third most goals, second least amount of goals against. So, and also I think a lot of it hinges for Buffalo on Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
yeah.
Like a lot of it hinges on that.
I would agree with that. I think they're a little worse defensively, even with all of the talent they have on defense. And I think that offensively they are talented. I don't think they're as deep as some of the other teams. That's my only pushback with the Sabres. We only have them 2 spots apart, so it's not like it's kind of a crazy pushback. One reason why they won't win and one reason why they will win, and the Sabres were you, Jesse.
So one reason why I said that I think they're going to win is, again, like as we touched on, I truly think that they're one of the deepest teams in the playoffs. Again, like, is their top end talent necessarily the best compared to other teams? I mean, I know they have Dahlin and they have Tage Thompson who have been great, but I think there might be some other teams in the playoffs that, like, do they match up with like Makar and McKinnon or McDavid and Bouchard? I mean, they're kind of in that
cup final for
What?
that. They got to get to a cup final.
Yeah. But I do think that Buffalo is like really one of the deepest teams in the playoffs, and they've proven that all year. Statistically, they've shown it. They've been great, and they won their division, which is very impressive. Where I think that they won't win is, I think a lot of their, I said it before, but like their inexperience has to be taken into account here. Buffalo hasn't been to the playoffs in 15 years. They have a lot of since 2011, they have a lot of young guys who just have not been in this position before. They do have guys that have been to the playoffs, though. Like, it's not like they have no one. But I do think that this is going to be an interesting run for Buffalo, an important one. But, yeah, and I think a lot hinges on Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Like, I don't know how he's going to be in the playoffs. But, yeah, those are kind of my reasons. Those are my reasons.
Montreal next, because I think it's a team that's now overlapped with all of us. I had them at 8, so I'm the highest on Montreal. It's a tough first-round matchup, but I just think this team they've got the hottest goalie kind of going into the playoffs right now, which is crazy. Whenever you have a 50-goal scorer, I think that is someone to pay attention to. You've got a 100-point center, Nick Suzuki. You've got Lane Hudson on the back end. Hopefully the Dobson injury doesn't loom too large, and obviously we don't know when exactly he's going to be back. But I think this team is also a lot more than just like Suzuki Caulfield. Like Slav had an amazing year. Demidov looked amazing. Oliver Kapanen has contributed really well. And I do think there's something to this Habs team.
I think the Dobson injury is massive, and they're really
it's a big
struggling,
one.
especially with the right-handed shots. I think because of how good Hudson's been, and Caulfield scored 50, and Suzuki's got 100 points, the Dobson move has really flown under the radar. He didn't have the biggest numbers by any means, but I thought he had a really, really good season and did everything they asked him to do night in, night out. And to me, defensively, he was far better than advertised from what I heard about the player once they traded for him.
People really ragged on him for that, but I think he's a lot better than
he
people
played
give
a
him credit
huge
for.
role for this Habs team this year, and I think they're going to miss him. Reinbacher's come up, which has been nice to see, but again, it's a player with 2 games of NHL experience, and you're asking him to go up against one of the best teams in the NHL and a team that's won multiple cups in Tampa Bay. So they're actually very, very big underdogs in the first round, which I was a bit surprised to see given the fact that very equal point total to Tampa, and they fought for home ice until the very last game of the season. I'm excited to see what Montreal does in year 2. I think last year was a bit of a bright-eyed and bushy-tailed moment of we're happy to be here. We're excited to just be in the playoffs. Nobody expected us to be here. And they put up a solid fight. This year, now there is more expectation. There is hope that they can win a series, hope that they can go on a run. And I think when looking at the matchup versus Tampa, it's an exciting one. And one minor move, and you talk about depth, I think this is a series of why you went and got Philip Deneau early in the season. I think he is going to prove to be very, very valuable as a shutdown, defensive, third or fourth line center. And I think down the middle is where Montreal can almost... I almost see it as a strength when you look at Suzuki, Kapanen, Jake Evans, Philip Deneau. Those are 4 good two-way players. Does Kerfoot
play center or not Kerfoot? Newhook. Sorry.
He can, but he typically plays on the wing with Oliver Kapanen.
See, this is kind of my issue with Montreal. Like for me, when I'm looking at this team, like this team's almost perfect, and I think a guy like Michael Hage is gonna, when he does, fit in perfectly there. But like, I just wonder if they're deep enough necessarily at center to like go all the way. But I absolutely love the Canadiens. I think they're great. I'm definitely going to be rooting for them in the playoffs. I think they're one of the most. They actually probably are the most exciting team to watch in the playoffs, in my opinion. I think Dobish as well has been great. Playoffs are a different beast. Yeah. I'm curious to see how he does in the playoffs because it is different, especially when you're playing a team like the Lightning and you're going to have to beat them 4 times. It's a bit of a different story, but. Do you feel as though Montreal has the center depth to make a real run? Because I'm high on Montreal, for the record. That's just one thing for me that I kind of wonder.
So let's go with your one reason why they will and won't win now, because I think this answers the question potentially.
Why they win? It wasn't about center depth. I just wrote down 3 names: Caulfield, Slavkovsky, and Suzuki. I think this has been a top 3 line in the NHL this year at 5-on-5. On the power play, obviously they're great, but they're always playing in the other team's zone when those 3 are on the ice, and they're going to play a lot of minutes. They're continuing to get better. They're still young. I think we're really going to see Slavkovsky in these playoffs as that big power forward who can be physical, who can score goals, and that's going to be really valuable. Why I don't think they're going to win is maybe they're just not ready yet. And there's still some concerns with some young players, obviously inexperienced. Dobish played a couple playoff games last year because of injury. But if that's your number 1 goalie and your backup goalie's also a rookie, they're the youngest team in NHL history to ever make the playoffs, like it just might not be their time yet, which is fine.
Totally fair. I think now the top 7 is just heavy hitters, right? I think this is like the teams that...
Top 10 for me was all heavy hitters.
Top 10 for sure, but I think like this group of 7, I think, is the one that has the most experience, has the most talent, the least amount of questions, I would say, even despite some of the regular season struggles. Me and Pac both at Vegas at 7. They're a little higher on your list because...
They're actually a lot higher on my list.
1?
They have not been revealed yet.
They're a lot higher on my list.
I'm trying to buy Vegas, and I
don't
get
buy
it.
them.
You guys don't buy what they've done with Torch over the last 7 games or 8
it's a small
games?
sample size.
7-0-1, I'm pretty sure, with Torch is their coach right now.
Vegas,
that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, this is a team that's won a cup. They have so many great players. So...
You know the teams that... Wait. You know the teams they played in this stretch?
Let's hear them all.
Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton. Nice win.
Slapped Edmonton.
Okay.
5-1 that game.
Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton. Vancouver, Seattle, Colorado, Winnipeg, Seattle. So 2 playoff teams.
Beat Colorado.
Got outplayed in that game pretty thoroughly.
And a Winnipeg team that has actually been playing really well down the stretch and just missed out on the playoffs.
My thing with them is like...
I don't think it's as impressive as
I keep going back to the point that this year, what did they win? 39 games? Like, you're winning less than half your games.
What have you done
I'm supposed to look at you like you're the Vegas of old? I don't know. I think they can go on a run. I think in a open division with Torts coming in and that new fresh coach bounce where this team's energized, yes, they can definitely go on a run, but there are clearly holes in this team over an 82-game sample size that I just think when talking about the elite of the elite teams in the NHL right now, that's why I have them at 7.
Should we talk about them now, or should we talk about them when I list them?
We can probably start talking about all these teams now just to save some time.
Do we even want to reveal our top 4?
Yeah, let's reveal our top 4, and then we can kind of go one by one with these. So start with your top 4.
4, I have the Tampa Bay Lightning. 3, I have the Minnesota Wild. 2, I have the Dallas Stars. 1, I have the Colorado Avalanche.
Get your popcorn ready, folks. 4, I got the Dallas Stars. 3, I got the Edmonton Oilers. 2, I've got the Vegas Golden Knights. 1, I've got the Colorado Avalanche.
4, I've got Carolina. 3, I've got Tampa Bay. 2, I've got Dallas. And 1, I have Colorado. So Vegas obviously is the biggest kind of discrepancy there.
The thing for me, and like I could be wrong, I do feel like Vegas is a team that could definitely get upset by Utah. I think anyone could kind of get upset I think no one's really safe other than maybe Colorado in the.
It depends if they play Edmonton.
Yeah, exactly. In the first round. My thing about Vegas is that like I'm just, and maybe I'm wrong here. I just look at what they've been doing. I think they're coming together at the right time. I think that the Torts hiring they're getting exactly what they wanted out of it. And sure, maybe they're on this like kind of bit of a Cinderella thing. And yeah, I guess they have played some teams that aren't as strong. Still think that they have beat some good teams down that stretch. But I don't know. It just feels like Vegas has all the pieces on that team. They have guys that have made a run on that team. Maybe they just like needed a bit of a change at coach to just like get things going a little more. They've been absolutely humming lately. Like Mark Stone, Jack Eichel, those are guys that like they scare me in the playoffs. And they also have depth guys that can get it done as well. I mean, obviously, we're gonna have to see what happens with Mitch Marner. I mean, what an opportunity for him to like show what he's all about and help Vegas make a run here. They've got hope maybe a guy like Carlson can come back. Like I just think Dorofeyev has been incredible. They've got good guys on the back end. Like I just feel like Vegas is one of those teams, like if Dallas played Vegas, like would I feel that confident taking Dallas to beat Vegas? Not really. I went with Vegas high. I'm high on them. I think they've got all the pieces to make a run here. I think at least no one's really got an easy path, but like I see there's a path for them here. That's just my opinion.
So give me your one reason why they will and one reason why they won't, because you had Vegas.
I think that they're an incredibly deep team. Like I think when you have guys like Mark Stone and Jack Eichel who have been there before, who have done this, it's like they're both having really, really strong years. I think you throw a guy like Marner in who, you know, if you're optimistic, you think Marner should be a factor that helps this team go deep. They've got guys like Dorofeyev who can score. Like this is a dangerous team. They're very deep, and really a reason why I think they can and can't. I think goaltending for me is a big thing. I think if Hart can continue the way that he's been playing and help this team go on a run, I think Vegas can win it all. I think in the same breath, Hart can also go to the playoffs, hasn't played playoff hockey in a long time, can completely crap his pants. So that's kind of a reason for me why they won't. And yeah, I get that they haven't been that good at earlier parts of the year. And like, if you look at their point total, it's not great. The Pacific's been a dog fight, a pillow fight or whatever. But like, even though maybe they haven't been playing some good teams lately, I'm kind of looking like, what have you done for me lately? Vegas has been one of the best teams in the league. Like, they've been very good. So that's kind of it for me. But I get why you guys have them lower. And honestly, the first parts of their season would give a lot of hockey fans a reason to like not be as high on them. I just think that like they have the core and they've got Torts now in the mix. I just feel like things are kind of clicking at the right time. But this also could bite me in the ass, and I wouldn't be surprised by that either.
Let's move on to, I think Minnesota is kind of the next team that you guys had revealed. Or I know, where do you have Minnesota?
I have Minnesota at 3. So
you had them at 3.
Yeah.
So this is another one that's got some discrepancy because Jesse, you had them in
at 7.
At 7.
And I wanted to put them a lot higher. I think Minnesota is an amazing team. And I think, as you said, Luca, specifically in the top 7, if any of these teams won the Cup, wouldn't be surprised at all. I think the margins are very, very small here.
I've got them at 6. So why do you have them so high? Why do you believe in the Wild a little more than we do?
I just think it's their time, and they went all out to get Quinn Hughes. I think that can breed success. Mind you, I have the team that they're playing in the first round ranked above
ahead of them.
Yeah. So it's really tough in the Central.
It is. Central's a battle.
Are we in agreement? That's probably the best series of the first round.
Yeah,
like, that's going to be an unbelievable
playing
series
against each other. But I love what Minnesota's done on the back end, goaltending wise. I think their defensemen are great. And this just been a long time coming for this team. They haven't won a playoff series in so long, but Kaprizov is scoring like crazy. Boldy's been scoring like crazy. I love Joel Eriksson as a player, especially in a playoff series against a really, really strong Dallas team. I think he'll be a key piece. So I really like what the Wild have been building this year.
I love the Wild.
And I think, I don't know, it's just unfortunate that they have to play Dallas in the first round.
One reason why they will and won't win from you, Jesse, for this one, because you had the Wild.
Again, I've talked about these 3-headed monsters, and you look at Kaprizov, Boldy, and Hughes, I mean, wow. I saw an insane stat recently. Quinn Hughes is possessing the puck at, I think, 2 minutes and 39 seconds of total in games. It's like almost 40 seconds more than the next highest person or something. I got to get this. It's just a crazy stat. Anyways, Hughes has been an absolute beast. Kaprizov's been insane. Boldy's been insane. I think that team can kind of go as far as those three take them. My one concern is, I have a couple concerns. Their center depth is Hartman has actually been great lately, so props to him. He's been really picking it up. Eriksson Ek is great. I think though that like at the trade deadline, a lot of people are probably wondering like should the Minnesota have gone out and gone a better or true number one center or added a little depth there? I just don't know.
Yeah, Trocheck was like a name that
like I don't know if they're quite there at center, and that is a little concerning to me. That's something that I value a lot. And one thing as well is what goalie is going to be playing in the playoffs for this team? Like Gustafsson has not been that great down the stretch, and I feel like, is it crazy to say that they should be rolling Wallstedt? Like Wild fans, I kind of want to hear from you. Maybe I'm completely wrong here, and I think Gustafsson's awesome. But like we saw Gustafsson at the Olympics, wasn't very good. Wallstedt like didn't really get didn't get much of a chance, and I don't know like. Do you think Gustafsson has a pretty short leash if he's the starting goalie?
I think when you have two good goalies, when you have two good goalies in a situation like this, like you're always looking like if one guy's not playing well, and I feel like that competition gets the best out of both goalies too. But if one guy is not playing well, you're gonna go quickly, especially against a team like Dallas. Mm-hmm. You're gonna move quickly to the other guy.
Gustafsson has allowed 25 goals in his last 6 games. Like, and they've been playing different competition. But Wallstedt over that same stretch, I'm pretty sure he's allowed 11. So. I don't know. Obviously Gustafsson is their guy, but you got to wonder like if he's not playing well in the first couple of games, are they going to kind of go with Wallstedt? We'll see. But those are just kind of my concerns with Minnesota. But I'm very high on the Wild. I really like the Minnesota Wild, and if they beat Dallas and then went on a run, would I be surprised? Absolutely not. But then again, I'm thinking like if Minnesota plays Vegas, do I feel great about Minnesota beating Vegas? Like not really. But who knows?
Edmonton Oilers are the team I want to talk about next. I've got them at 5. Jesse, where do you have your Oilers?
I've got them at 3.
I'm at 6.
And you have them at 6. So we're
I'm lowest
close
on the Oilers. Who would have thought?
I mean, I wouldn't have thought because I know that's your team and you absolutely love them.
Yeah.
It's hard to get there with this team, but they also I can't keep them out of the top 5 because like McDavid and Draisaitl in the playoffs, and we don't know when Draisaitl is going to play. They've kind of been quiet with that. He's back at practice, but I imagine if they have a series they view as easier in the first round, and I guess any series without Colorado might be that kind of series is one that they're going to maybe get him back on a slower pace, but if it's the Avs, maybe they try and rush him back. We don't know what he has as far as the injury goes. If he's not playing, they're obviously not in anyone's top 5, I don't think, because as good as McDavid is, I don't think he can literally do it all on his own, although he can try, and I wouldn't be surprised if he wins a playoff series against a team like the Ducks. But as far as just the best teams, they need Draisaitl for that. But I still don't trust the goaltending. I'm still not 100% in on the depth. But whenever you have playoff McDavid and Draisaitl, I think it's just like an automatic top 5 team.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. When it comes to Edmonton, these are all conversations we've had before, not just this year, but the year before that and the year before that. I have them for why they win and why they don't win, and it's very simple. Why they win, Connor McDavid. McDavid, and throw Draisaitl in there. Draisaitl's health. Draisaitl comes back healthy. The production, and Bouchard was great last year, too. The production that they get from these guys is just absurd. And why they don't win is goaltending. It's been their Achilles heel for many years now, and
they've almost won twice.
They've approached every playoff series with what feels like a new goalie throughout this entire McDavid Draisaitl era, and this year they're doing it again with Connor Ingram, who they've kind of committed to being their starter,
and not the guy they traded for, Tristan Jarry.
Yeah, so it's weird. It's kind of a dog's breakfast there in terms of their goaltending situation, and I can't sit here and say that I have any more confidence that I have this year that I have in years past. So I don't know what the future is going to hold for this team, but obviously a lot of reasons to be confident, a lot of reasons, and there are reoccurring reasons to be cautious.
Yeah, and for me, this is a team that, like, right now at this moment in time, do I think they're the third best team in the league? No. I think Edmonton was the toughest team to gauge with this whole thing because not only have they been missing Draisaitl, they've also been missing Hyman. They won 5 games in a row with Hyman healthy, and then as soon as he got injured, they lose 4 of their next 5 games. So let's remember how valuable Zach Hyman also is to the Edmonton Oilers.
It's a good shout.
Yeah, he's awesome, and I'm just thinking, like, as much, even with the goaltending, because as you guys can recall at trade deadline, I could not believe that they are going into the playoffs with Jari and Ingram. But you know what, guys? Honestly, from what I saw in my research, Ingram has actually been kind of good lately.
He's been solid in the last 5. Like, he's got a shutout, few games with only 1 or 2 goals against, but before that was a really rough stretch. So, like, he's playing well right now.
It's
but
his dog's breakfast.
Yeah.
I don't think you can confidently say, like, hey, even if he's playing good right now, you feel good about their goaltending going into the playoffs.
I don't think we've ever felt good about Edmonton's goaltending, but they've been to back-to-back cups, and that's why I have them so high. It's like, okay, you get McDavid, big if with Draisaitl. That's why this, again, the Oilers are hard to gauge for health reasons, but, like, McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Bouchard leading the charge. I think they actually have some depth guys who've been contributing down the stretch. I think their blue line is not as bad as people think it is. I'm just like, McDavid is in his prime. He's hungry as ever to win a Stanley Cup. It's tough for me to doubt him.
Yeah,
it's tough for me to doubt him.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I truly think this is one of the weakest teams that they've kind of fielded in this era. Honestly, like, I was very underwhelmed by kind of the additions they made at the trade deadline. I still think, like, the bottom 9 is outside of Nugent Hopkins. Like, it's whatever. It can go either way when you're playing with those talented guys. So it really is more just like, who outside of McDavid and Draisaitl is going to step up for this team? And
Jack
if they can,
Roslovic, baby.
hey, if he can have a magical run, if Savoy can keep playing how he is, like, the ceiling is obviously a lot higher. But
What players though have made the Oilers like that much better in past years? I mean, like, obviously a guy like Evander Kane has been valuable.
I think he was really good. I just
Corey Perry.
Corey Perry was really good for this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, the moves they made, like, Dickinson doesn't inspire anything in me, and he's hurt now, and that
Perry's
move
been
looks.
good defensively.
Trent Frederick.
Trent Frederick signed to
Year 1
that
of
massive
7.
deal. Jake Wallman playing third pair with that massive contract that he got. Like, I'm kind of out on their decor as a whole still.
They're gonna
Like,
win the cup this year.
They probably will, because McDavid and Draisaitl are going to go nuclear, and they have the opportunity to do that every single year because you have those guys.
Let's remember Bouchard too, 55 points in his
Absolutely.
last 2 playoffs. He's been an absolute tank. So I just think that, like, I feel like every year, kind of low on Edmonton, and they're like, oh, their goaltending stinks. Oh, this team doesn't have the depth. Like, I remember saying that a couple years ago. It's like, oh yeah, like Cody Ceci is like on their blue line, and I feel like we're having the same conversations about the Oilers blue line. And then McDavid and Draisaitl and Bouchard and all these guys, they just, like, you're right though, they do need guys like a Corey Perry, but like, so Matt Savoy has been pretty good down the stretch too. Like, I know he's young, but he's been solid. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be playing on the top line with Hyman and McDavid. And if Isaac Howard can kind of put it together, he's been really good in the AHL. It's a big if, obviously, but I don't know. I feel like Edmonton, we'll see. They're the most intriguing team, in my opinion, in the playoffs.
It's their worst season since the shortened COVID season in 2020-21 as far as points go. So I think that
They've also been dealing with injuries like,
they have
the whole year.
Absolutely they have. But I think that's part of the reason why people are probably a little lower on them this year than in previous years, because of just how inconsistent they've been all season long and how bad it's looked for a team that has gone to a cup final twice and was needing to make some moves to get them over the hump, and we'll see how it kind of goes now, because now it's the playoff time. We've got a few more teams to talk about here, so let's try and roll through them, because these are teams that I think, unsurprisingly, are in our top 5s and top 4s or wherever we kind of had them. I think you guys were a little lower on the Hurricanes than I was. I forget where you both
I'm
had
at
them.
5.
I'm at 5 as well.
Okay, so not too low. I had them at 4, so I think this has been the best, most consistent Eastern Conference team.
They're my top team. They're my top team in the East,
and rightfully so. I think when we talk about the Hurricanes, it's really the biggest question is goaltending and what that looks like in the playoffs, because the numbers obviously for Bussy aren't amazing, but he keeps on winning games.
Wins games, yeah.
Exactly. So, like, as much as we want to kind of look at the numbers and the save percentage specifically under 900, we've talked about it before. It's a product of how the team plays.
Yeah, they're going to keep the shots low. Like,
they have the easiest path to a conference final, I think, that you could ask for, where you play the Sens, which I think, hey, you're playing the two wildcard team.
It's all relative.
It's all relative for sure. But the Sens are a tough matchup. But the winner of Pittsburgh and Philly, you're probably feeling really good about. The Hurricanes should be favored in both of those series. I think as far as just their depth goes, they're always one of the deepest teams in hockey up front, on the back end.
They're the only team, I'm pretty sure, with 7 20-goal scorers on their roster this year.
Unsurprised.
But the thing is like the goaltending thing. I agree. Like I have another concern with the Hurricanes, and I think it's concerning. I don't know if it's concerning. I just wonder whether or not they could win with this. Sure, they've got tons of depth, guys who can score. Logan Stankoven has actually been great down the stretch. He's been humming. But one player was on our top 25 list. You had Sebastian Aho. What was he at?
22 maybe.
Okay, Luca and I didn't have any players on Carolina, and we saw a lot of people in the comments saying you guys had no one on Carolina, no one on Carolina. It's no disrespect to Carolina. They've put together an incredible team. But do they really have like these guys that are in the top 25 that you feel great about? Like we look at Colorado, for example. We look at they've got like McKinnon, they've got Makar, they've got Natchez, and Carolina's been right there. They've been scoring a lot of goals this year, but do they have that player who can really take over a series like what they were maybe expecting to get out of Rantanen? And I don't know. Is having depth scoring and a bunch of guys who can score, is that going to be enough opposed to someone who can like really, really take over? Could Svechnikov kind of step up as a guy who scores a bunch of goals for the team in the playoffs and establishes himself as that guy? I mean, obviously we were talking about how Aho's been consistent in the playoffs too, but I don't know. That is just the one thing that kind of worries me about the Hurricanes and has always worried, I think, everyone about the Hurricanes.
Yeah. I'm always of the opinion that, like, I'd rather have, like, 2 guys that I know are game breakers than a bunch of depth guys that score 20 goals. Because we saw with the Blues team, I think, that faced the Avs in their cup run. They had, like, that was the question. It was like, oh, the Blues have, like, 9 guys that have scored 20 goals this year. It's like, okay, but not all of them are going to be playing the same amount of time that they usually do in the regular season. Matchups are a lot tougher. You're playing against the same team now. It's one of the best teams. Like, it gets a lot more difficult to score in the playoffs, and there are less opportunities for your 6th, 7th forwards that scored 20 goals in the regular season to do this in the playoffs. Like Jordan Staal, I'm not expecting, he had 20 goals in the regular season. I'm not expecting him to score 5 goals this playoff run. If he does that, like that's a massive win for them, but I'm not expecting that out of him. Taylor Hall at 18, only playing 14 minutes a night. Like I'd be surprised if he scores 6 goals in the playoffs based on what he did in the regular season. It's great to have that through 82 games. I've always been of the opinion, though, that I'd rather have 3 guys that have like 30-goal seasons, and then you surround them with talented players that aren't relied on to score.
Shout out to Seth Jarvis too, who I'm pretty sure led their team in goals.
He's leading the team with 32, but
he could be that guy.
And I also think like I'd love. I know Gostisbehere's 50 points, and he's their closest thing they have to like the offensive defenseman on this team. But I just think if you're gonna have a defenseman playing like 21, 22 minutes a night, I'd want them to be a little more offensive minded. I feel like we see this with cup winning teams where they typically have a guy that puts up a ton of points on the back end. So that's kind of an area of concern. I think you kind of eloquently gave the reasons why you were concerned and a reason why they can and can't win. So we can move on to.
I don't know if they were my team, but I apologize to whoever had.
No, they were. No, you did it there.
Okay.
I'll move on to the Lightning, and we can kind of just go through these teams pretty quickly. I think. A reminder for everyone where we had the Lightning. I had them at number 3. You had them where, Paul? 4. And Jesse, where did you have the Lightning?
6, which I was hesitant to put them that low, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they lost to Montreal in the first round. And
no, it's a tough matchup. It is.
And I think even though it's been very tough because they've had a really tough opponent in the Florida Panthers, there's been a little reason to be concerned with the Lightning over the past few playoffs.
For sure. This is still one of the best teams in the league as far as expected goals against go for offense, for defense. Expected goals, they're top 10 in both of those categories. I think the reason why they can win is they're truthfully kind of built on defense and Vasilevsky in this era of their team. And I think Vasi is a Vezina candidate. He might win the award. the fact that this D-core is still standing, and not only standing, but like one of the strengths of this team, given the names and some of the turnovers, is truly remarkable. But the reason I have them potentially not winning is if playoff Kucherov that we talked about in the last one, if he's not scoring, like I get it. Yes, you have 16 assists in your last 17 playoff games, but whatever. One goal is not going to cut it. They need him to score some goals because this team has lacked goal scoring, truthfully. And Jake Gensel has been really good in that department, but Braden Point has had a bit of a slower year. Exactly. And so I think their team is really well built, but he is the engine of this team. And so he can't just be the one distributing. He has to score some goals for this team to go pretty far. So that's the one area of concern for them.
Gensel's a dog, man. Like that guy shows up with his lunch bucket and he goes to work. Like he's awesome.
I still think in an Eastern Conference where there's no Florida this year, there's no Toronto, who say what you want about their playoff success. They've been like a steady in the East. Boston's there, but I mean, we all voiced our concerns about that. Like Tampa should be the top dog. Team to be feared in the East because they have the experience. Whereas, like, you're in a playoff with all these other teams. You know, Montreal, very new. Buffalo haven't been to the playoffs in 10+ years. Ottawa, young team, not a lot of playoff experience. Like, especially in the Atlantic, like that is the team that I still fear, even though they didn't win the division. So,
two teams left to talk about. It's Dallas and Colorado. I've got 1 and 2 for Colorado. Dallas, you do as well.
1 and 4.
1 and 4 for Dallas. I think it's kind of pretty self-explanatory with these teams. Dallas has been remarkable all season long. That matchup with the Wild is a tough one, but they have been so good. I think the one area of concern we've always had, or I've had with Dallas all year long, is just their 5-on-5 play for how good they are and talented they are. They don't score a lot at 5-on-5, or they don't generate a lot. They score a little more than they do as far as expected goals for go. But they have every piece you need. Hintz not being available for the first 2 games of the series could prove to be massive, and so that's a huge one potentially. But Haskinen's supposed to be back for game 1, so I think that's huge for them. Ottinger's been amazing all year long, and this team really does come at you at waves. Do you have any other reasons why they might win or might lose?
I think you said it there. They're just so deep, and I feel like Dallas for years, we talk about every single year before the season starts. We have that tier list, and we put a team in the best.
They're always the deepest one.
We always put them in the best because we have such high expectations for this roster, and yeah, I just feel like last season was a big surprise, not just losing to Edmonton, but maybe how they lost. And I feel like that was disappointing to a lot of people. But we'll see with Dallas. They have, I mean, I talked about Boston before having all these ingredients, and that was just like one player in each category. It feels like Dallas has 4 amazing forwards and 2 or 3 amazing defensemen.
Maverick
and obviously Jake Ottinger. So, yeah, we will. But again, I mean, Minnesota is going to be a tough battle. That could easily be a Western Conference final in any other year, any other playoff format.
I'm going to hear it about Vegas in the comments. I know it. But you know what, guys? Maybe I'm putting them too high. But
second best team wouldn't make the playoffs in the East. Look at that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but what have you done for me lately, man?
No, I agree.
What have you done for me lately?
Listen, would I want to play Vegas in the playoff series? No, I would not.
That's the thing, man. You get to the playoffs, it's like, oh yeah, I have to go against.
You get to the playoffs.
I have to go against Eichel, Stone,
the point
Barbashev,
in the season.
Mitch Marner, Dorofeyev, Riley Smith, William Karlsson if he comes back, Thomas Hertl, and then on defense, McNabb, Theodore, Hannafin, Anderson. Like that's a pretty good top 4. No, it's pretty good. I don't know. I just feel like we'll see. I could be completely wrong, but we'll see.
Last team to talk about. We don't really need to spend a lot of time on them. They've been the best team in the. They've been the best team in the entire league all year long. It's kind of a wire-to-wire season for them. President's Trophy winners, best arguably forward in the league this year. 2 100-point players. Best defenseman, arguably, in the league this year. Deepest team in the league. I think the only question for this team is goaltending.
Let's just do this, because even goaltending, I mean, Wedgwood led the league in save percentage.
He did, and goals against average, I believe, as well. Just
we know how good the Avs are.
Yes.
I think this would be fun, because we know how hard it is to win a cup. The best team doesn't win a cup every year. The President's Trophy team doesn't win the cup every year. It's actually very tough to do that. Give me a percentage right now that the Avs will go make the cup final and the Avs lift the cup.
All depends on if they play Edmonton in the first round, truthfully.
What are we, a moneypuck.com live
Well,
simulator?
it's something different. It's if you know.
You know what? I mean, given how good they look, I don't know what team is going to beat them 4 games in a 7-game series. So, like, getting to the Cup final, I think this is the best version of this team since they last made it, and potentially even better, truthfully. I think they've been that good. So, getting to the Cup final, like, I'm not afraid to say, like, 90%.
That high.
I'm not afraid to say that.
50%.
No, I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say it. And then lifting the cup, like, give me like, because those Eastern teams are good. It depends who they play. Like, if you're saying Tampa, Carolina, I'd say like 65, 70. If they're playing anyone else, I'd say like 80.
Who do you think is there,
That's
like, truly,
crazy.
like, in a 7-game series, who would you be the most scared to play against in the West?
Dallas. It's just their boogeyman. They can't beat Dallas. It's always been the team they've struggled with most. I don't know what exactly it is about the Stars. It's a new coaching staff now, so like maybe whatever magic DeBoer had in him for those matchups is gone. That's my hope. But I'm not particularly afraid of Minnesota. I'm not particularly afraid of Edmonton, truthfully. Vegas, I'm not really that afraid of either. I think this team is the most talented team in hockey. And anything short of
Must
making
be
it to a
nice.
Cup final is a disappointment this year, given just how much better they've been than every other team this year. It's been a joy to watch them, and I
How does
hope
that
to
feel,
see
man?
them.
Feel good?
It feels
Yeah.
amazing. It
Yeah,
feels
must be nice.
it feels
Wonder what
really
that's
good.
like.
And
Hey,
they're
Jets won the President's Trophy.
We
last
did the
year.
President's Trophy last year.
they're also
What happened
healthy.
there?
Yeah, but I think going into the playoffs, there was reasons to be concerned
Yeah.
about the Jets.
Shout out
Blues gave
Parker.
him
Shout out Parker Kelly. 20 goals. What a beast. What a beast. Okay, that's our 16-1. That was a long video, but I think it was one that we enjoyed doing, and we get to talk about every team, which is a lot of fun. So you guys are surely going to disagree. Let us know where you disagree in the comments.
And give us your 16-1.
Yeah.
Give us your
I'm
16
gonna
to
get
one as well.
towards for Vegas, but whatever. YOLO.